Testing, testing. Hello, everybody. We're going to get started momentarily. I'll let people filter in, say hi, and I will attempt to pronounce your name, and I will say hi back. And yes, you don't see me. Don't worry, nothing's broke. But I'll describe why you don't see me momentarily. I guess I'll be the first person to say hi. David, what is up? JVS, the admin. Hello, Ganti, Nohan, Jay, what's up? I'm just going to call you Ara. Michael, Amit. All right, that's enough of that. Yeah, so you don't see me because we're selling our house, and this office is just a mess right now. There's no green screen in here. Hello from Akron, Ohio. Yeah, it's about like 45 minutes away from me. All right. We're going to get started here just a few moments. When am I going to shift? I don't know what you mean. Okay, no problem. Actually, I would prefer to turn off super chats today. I don't even want to do them, but I don't know how I can do that. Stream settings. No, not there. All right. So let's go ahead and just get this started. So today we have a new sponsor for the next 4 streams, and that is going to be from Hover. All right, hover.com. Now there's a link in the YouTube description that will take you to get you 10% off right here at this URL up at here. And basically they offer over 300 different types of domains from .design, from .art, .inc to .photo, and so much more. And so obviously if you're a designer and you want to have a unique photo, I just said unique photo, a unique domain name with any of these domain extensions, including .design, definitely check them out and take them up on this offer, especially for the 10% off. So like I said, they have over the 300 domain extensions, which is crazy. Let's see if they have, what do they have for design course? Look at that, design core, and then .se is available. I like that. So tons of different options to choose from here. So definitely take them up on that. Great support and all of that. All right, so let's go ahead and I'll really quickly, I'm not going to spend much time because I feel like a broken record introducing the show. I feel like most people know what I'm talking about. But if not, this is just a live UI UX review. You submit your designs here in Discord. The link is in the YouTube description along with the instructions. And then I review it. And then I ask the audience here to give a rating of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and we'll see if we agree. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So we have a few already. Here's the first one. Here is a Behance. Let's see if they said it's a redesign of Sweet Home 3D landing page. All right. So let's get this adjusted right here. All right. So free interior design application. I'm not too happy about the type here. Something feels off about it. I think the size of this type right here, the description, should be quite a bit smaller because it's along with the download now button. I think it should be scaled down just a bit more than what it is. So it seems like this is the only. Is this the only page here? Yeah. So I think this is the area that kind of needs to be improved the most. This part is pretty cool right here. I think that's fine. I think also with your nav bar, this part should be, this should at least be bold. Or you could take these and make them a tad bit smaller to kind of reinforce that visual hierarchy between these two elements. Nonetheless, there's not much happening here for me to review outside of that. So 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, what do you think this particular landing page should be rated? Yeah, just like JVS said, everything is just really excessively large. I'm drinking a lot of water. I hate myself. I drank too much alcohol last night. I am horrible. No self-control. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and give this one, I mean, it's doing some things right. I mean, definitely is doing some things right. Color and contrast is perfect. There's no issues there. Just scale is kind of screwed up. I'm going to go ahead and give this one just a 6.5, I think. Yeah, no camera today, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, simply because we're fixing up our house to sell it here, so there's no green screen. Okay, next up. Submission instructions are in the YouTube description of this video. All right, so did they say anything? Not fully done. Oh, it's Samnan here. Okay. All right, so this is a login page. Welcome back. Email, password, sign in, don't have account. All pretty straightforward. Works out pretty well. I'm not sure about having this dark stroke right here around these two elements, but then these ones don't. It kind of throwing me off. I think either they should all have like that black stroke or don't, or none of them should have it. It feels weird to me. That's a small gripe though. Register. Check your mail inbox to verify. Simple enough. I think that's all there is to look at this one though. No usability issues I would foresee with this particular prototype. Yeah, not too bad. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Yeah, I like the type. I would say maybe this part, this like real blue part from the skeleton UIs, maybe competes a little bit with the call to action button. But there's not really much happening here, so it's like I'm not going to rate it real high. I mean, for what it is, though, I mean, we'll go ahead and rate this one like a 7.5 or so. All right. Oops, wrong one. There we go. All right. Next up, David Spudik. All right. We have a subtle animation. Let's go ahead and refresh that. You know what I think would be cool for that animation? When it's coming down, make this start a little bit sooner. Like right now. I think there's too much of a delay there. Either way, it works. And also, depending on, I'm not sure what you're using for animating this, but if you use something like GSAP, you could create a cool sort of like sequence animation. Although, if it's just for that one purpose, you could do that custom. And what I mean is stagger animation, like making them kind of fall in sequentially, like this, then this, and then this. I think that would be cool. I hate when people message me. Don't message me because I'm not going to look at your messages. All right. Available for projects. Yep. This is one of those things don't do because you only have, you know, 3 links. One's kind of X'd out for some reason. Definitely put those 3 up here. You don't want people to have to click twice. Outside of that, you know, it's a cool, very minimalistic. I like the type. I like the colors. Kind of just like an abstract, simple little line here, which is cool. More white space underneath this headline, because this is real clamped up, scrunched up right here. This is an easy fix, obviously. And again, we'll take this margin bottom. Something funky's happening here where this is getting cut off though, but you should have like that much, ideally. Yeah, this is pretty good here. It's a little strange. I'm not sure about the view project button being like real, like not much contrast. Also, it's kind of, I would put like center right here vertically between these two elements, or not the two elements, but between the bottom of this and the bottom of this element right here. Put that in the center, make it bold perhaps. All right, so yeah, overall, it's a pretty good design. I do like it. What do you think this person should get? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Yeah, I think this is at least 8. I wouldn't add box shadows on these because they're already gray. You usually do that sort of thing like if you're dealing with white or something like that. For me, I'm going to go ahead and give this one like an 8.3. It's pretty solid in my opinion. All right, very good. Continuing on. All right, personalroute.com. I'm glad I managed to finish this project on my own. I couldn't find a good contrast solution for the main text ready to start your next trip in the background. Well, let's see if we can help here. Oh boy. We have a lot of clutter and high contrast issues occurring here. Okay, first of all, repeating background. Don't want that. We can't see it until we get out here, but you have this repeating. And so in your CSS, you really should make this background size cover. That way it won't repeat. Additionally, let's get to the main part here. The biggest issue is, all right, see you later, JVS. The biggest issue is this background is completely 100%, you know, just full on contrast. If you want to have text on top of a background like this where there's a lot happening, you need to make it, usually the best way to approach it is to make it dark. Really make this, darken this image. You can do that with HTML and CSS, or you could just darken the image in Photoshop. It's up to you. But where it says ready to start your next trip, I mean, it's hard to read. It really is hard to read, even though you have like a border around it. The best approach would be to really darken this up big time if you wanted to use this, and then make the text white without any borders on top of them. You have also an issue with your call to actions. They're both styled exactly the same, and generally speaking, you should always emphasize one button over the other. And which one you choose is about, you know, which one you deem to be the most important. And so there's a lot of borders here, borders around the text. You don't want to use borders or overuse borders like that, and to such a degree. Features, coming down here, things are kind of, you know, they are cluttered a bit. There's not a lot of white space between your sections. This is all pretty close together. And, you know, one great way just to demonstrate this is to show you how much better it looks. So you have margin bottom of 4 rem units, but, you know, what happens if we put it to like 8 rem units? And then same thing with this. You know, this is probably margin top 5. We could change that to 8. And now you're spacing things out a little bit more, which makes more sense. Also, for this large sort of resolution, you know, you can have your container like out to here and here centered. This feels a little bit too small and cramped in. So the alignment here, this particular 2-column layout doesn't make sense because you have 3 of these cards which are vertically aligned, but then you have this right here, which only assumes the width of one of these or the length. And so you have all this empty space here. So I would like you to, you could put these all on 3 just on a row, which would make more sense in my opinion, and probably just drop this graphic. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you think this person should receive? Let's check out if it's responsive or not. Yeah, there's no nav, which is okay depending on purpose of the site. I'm going to go ahead and give this one like a 4.7 or so. All right. Next up. Who is next? Oh, we had a super chat. All right, hi, please this. You're the best. I don't know what please this means, but maybe you meant please check this one out. Okay. All right. So we have, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, there we go. Let's scroll down. All right. So let's go ahead and translate this from Swedish to English. First of all, I'd push this down. It's real close to the top. And then you have all this space down here, which would allow you to push it down. So, you know, just to make that quick fix, let's see here. There we go. So, margin top. There we go. 5 M units is a lot better. You can go even more, 6 or 7. But that looks a lot better. Then, of course, you want to take this and line that back up here so it's in line, because that just looks randomly placed now. So I think that's a much better improvement than what this was, because it just feels it's out of alignment. Next up after that, this part, you know, all this here isn't that bad in terms of design. I would get rid of this border though. This little gray border, you don't need that in my opinion. These are good thumbnails here, or gallery. Not too sure about this. I don't like the mid gray here because there's no other gray in these. You want everything to be very consistent with your icons. I'd probably drop down the contrast just a tiny bit on these. It makes it easier to see or read the titles right off the bat. So elements, style, like color. So you could do like color gray, or right around there. That's better in my opinion for all 3 of them, of course. Yeah, not too bad for the rest of everything else that I see. What do you think this person should get? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. For me, I'm going to go ahead and rate this one is it responsive? That's a pretty big old hamburger, but that's okay. I'm going to give this a rating of probably like a 6.8, 6.7. I think that's fair. All right, and then let's go on to whoever is next. So we did personal route. We got a COVID tracker. It seems like a COVID tracker is like every single aspiring developer. Like all in everybody's portfolio, which is okay because it's fun to play around with the data, I guess. Looking at this, I'm not sure. There needs to be white space on top of that element because it's smashed right up against that little UI type thing going there. So like margin top, 2M units, that's a lot better. That pushes things away. This graph right here is pretty good, although I would say maybe you should bold these parts up for the states. You know, oh, of course it's making them all bold, but if I just did font weight bold on that one, you'll see that with all these being bold, it just it makes a lot more sense. That way, not everything's styled exactly the same. Oh shoot, there we go. Sorry about that. Everything else that I see here looks pretty decent. Again, there's not a lot happening. Hold on, my wife's calling me. Yeah, what's up? I'm in the middle of a stream. Bye. Okay. So, yeah, this is pretty solid. Outside of that, the Nav Bar where this is right up against there, that's not good. I'm also not sure if I make that red on blue like that. It doesn't really work too well in my opinion. Also, like with this being, when these are active, you can't really see the type. Like that should be blue, I mean that should be white type. That's bold, so you can easily see it. This one could be black, but bold it, or make it white and bold it. And then that way you can see it. So there's contrast issues. So one being the worst, 10 being the best, what do you think? I do like the background being very subtly gray and the white panel on top. You know, those work well. Let's see if it's responsive. Looks like it is, but you have no white space. So that would look like butt on the phone. For me, I'm just going to give this, again, this is kind of like a middle of the road. We're going to say like a 6. You guys are really rating this low. Yeah. All right, next up. I'm just starting off with the design before adding the real stuff. So yeah, very early stages. Feedback, blah, blah, blah. I'm not proud, blah, blah, blah. Working on getting some graphics. Okay. Okay. I'm almost wondering why you even submitted it. You don't sound like you're very confident here. All right, next up. Let's see here. Very strange placement, I have to say, for the navigation. Usually you want to push that up a little bit higher just to give yourself more space to work with. Name, web developer, burning for sleek in modern design. Burning for, that's an interesting verbiage. Portfolio, contact me. I'm not sure what this is. This must be your logo or something. It looks, sorry. Looks kind of strange to stick that there. So I'm not sure about that one. You know, I might want to use something different than just this icon that really doesn't have much meaning or relevance. If it's your portfolio, maybe just have like a picture of yourself or some way to uniquely integrate that. This, notice how when we hover over it, we can see the box shadow, but there's no white space, and that's a bad thing between this element here and the outer edge. So I would increase the padding inside of here if you want to do something like that. I do like this type right here. It's separated out very well, so good visual hierarchy there. This is simple enough. Contact, this is a little strange because it seems like it was built for mobile. It's so small here. You have all this room. You might as well utilize it a little bit more than what you are here. Outside of that, simple enough. What does everybody think that this person should get for a rating? This is a good take on dark mode, though. I like the color adjustments. I'm gonna give this one. Again, we're getting a lot of just similar scores here, in my opinion. There's not anything like horribly wrong here, but it is like just kind of. I'm just gonna go to like 6 or so. Somebody asked, why do people use dark mode on websites? I find it unnecessary. That's not necessarily true. Like I always like plugging my own site I built this year, frettastic.com. By default, we start off with the dark mode just because it's easier on your eyes. We offer a light mode, but that was probably completely unnecessary. But dark mode is a great thing to offer, especially earlier in the year. I started developing a lot of floaters in my eyesight, and they're annoying as hell, especially when you're dealing with a site that is real light and white, because you see them so much easier when you're working on. That's why Adobe XD pisses me off, because they don't offer a dark mode for their UI app, for their app. So dark mode, I do like it. I think a lot of times, sometimes people should just automatically default to the dark mode version anyway. All right, next up. Who is messaging me? No, I'm not reading your messages. It's a work in progress. Okay, let's check it out. I'm so tired. All right. This is weak. This is very weak right here. Let's fix it up a little bit with what you have. Font size 4M units, that's better. You're also going to want to have more width. So in this container, you only have like, I don't know how you're styling this up, but this needs to be, look, you're giving a lot more importance to this illustration than you are to the main text, which is much more important. This should go out here to at least 50%, maybe, yeah, to at least 50%, but you're pushing it over here to like 1/5 of this available width. So it makes it look just like, almost like an afterthought. So I definitely want to change that. The hover being red, I don't like the color scheme. You have white, you have this black or this really dark blue, and this color right here. But the red doesn't really stick out to me, and it's one of those colors in psychology, when you use it in this context, that it's almost like error. You know, it's a bad thing. So I wouldn't use red as an accent color. Same thing here as well. Portfolio, logos, websites, photography. This part's simple enough. This is better than up here, in my opinion. Also, too much white space on the top and bottom of this navigation. It's unnecessarily large. It feels like I've zoomed up in the browser, in a sense. None of these work though. So yeah, not much happening here. Let's check out if it's responsive. Yeah, you're gonna want to fix that. You have a z-index stacking issue. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you think this person should get? For me, I don't know. I think, oh, I just dropped my phone. I think I'll go ahead and rate this kind of like a 5.5, 5.8 or something like that. Somewhere around there. Thank you for the submission. Next up, simple layout design. Ashley Liu. Oh wait, before we get to this, and we will, I'm going to go ahead and mention the sponsor, which is hover.com, and they are sponsoring this stream along with the next 3 streams, so 4 total streams. And so they're the ones who are making this possible for me to do this every week. So if you click on the very first line or the very first link in the description here of this YouTube video, you'll get 10% off, and you'll be able to choose, and you'll have automatically 10% taken off of your first order here. And what is it? Basically domains. You have over 300 different domain extensions, including .design, .art, .ink, .photo, and many more. And so if you're a designer, you want to have a design portfolio, definitely check, take them up on the offer of 10% off. And they have great customer support, really nice and easy to use UI. And yeah, so definitely check them out. All right, let's continue on. Ashley Liu, let's refresh this, see if there's any type of animation. There's not, which is okay. Okay, we got a simple logo, simple nav up here. All right, so there's an issue, just a slight issue just with the topography here. What I would prefer to do is to flip this, the developer and designer type, with the treatment that's applied here on the description. I think developer and designer should be a little bit like this, styled like larger, and maybe make it bold possibly. And then this description should be styled like this over here. All right. So let me see if I can just real quickly adjust that. So font size 2.3 rem. I'll say 2 rem, and also take down the contrast just a little bit, and maybe the line height. Yeah, let's do 1.5 M units on there. Now the developer and designer, font weight bold. Yeah, we could possibly do that. All right, so now I think that overall is better than this. So here's the original. It just seems off this way. All right, next up, let's see what else is happening here. There's a lot of type here, and it's like a wall of text. I'd probably not have quite this much of text in the end. I know this is just lorem ipsum text. And then also the line height, it's too squashed up. So I would change that. I like these cards a lot. These are done very well. The type in them's done well. Everything about these cards right here is very good. Projects. All right, and again, this is probably, oh, it's a floating label. Very good. At least it floats up. All right, pretty solid. Probably this area, just, you want to improve that a bit. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think? We have an overlapping text issue here, though. For me, I'm going to give this one a 7.1. Yeah, I think that's pretty good there. All right, next up is a portfolio. Oh, this is a what do you call it? PWA, it looks like. All right. There are some issues I could tell right off the bat. Let's see here. All right. So it feels like when I looked up here in my browser, I felt like, have I been here before? And did I zoom up or something? Because this type right here is really big. Scale that sucker down quite a bit, all this stuff, and just move it and make sure there's a good amount of white space around it. But it feels like my browser has been zoomed. And unfortunately, I can't really zoom out for some reason. Let's refresh this too. There was some sort of animation on this. I would remove that just because initially you can't even see it, and I don't think it's strange, honestly, in my opinion. So I would change that. Outside of that, I'm not sure about all these drop shadows that are occurring here. And there's the way this is animated, it's pretty jarring, so it's really taking your attention away from this and to these kind of unimportant photographs. So I might rethink that down there. And again, everything is just way too large. Scale this stuff down quite a bit. Yeah, everything's in your face. And in this vertical navigation, it makes it hard to read the type because it clutters things up. See, there's like no white space hardly. Yeah. Yeah, look how large this is. This is massive. All right. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think this person should get? Let's check out if it's responsive. See, I like that. On mobile, it doesn't seem like it would be real bad. This is probably a good size. But on desktop, this is getting quite large. So for me, I think we'll go ahead and rate this one a 6.2 or so. All right. Continuing on. Considering elderly people. I feel like an elderly person right now. All right. Well, how about we just check this one out? There was a Figma design. I don't really care about seeing the Behance presentation of it. All right. It's the same thing. Yeah, well, this is really large here. There we go. Okay. So this is just kind of like a case study, it looks like. There's too much here for me to like sit here and like try to... Yeah, sorry. Unfortunately, with this type of submission, I really don't know. I'd rather see the design itself. Sorry about that. Next up, my personal website. Thanks for the review. I'm, whatever your name is, entrepreneur, front-end developer, UI and UX designer, and student. Okay. I would at least take these two columns here and center them more vertically in this space, just because you have a lot of empty space here and it's uneven. Home services skills. Again, issue with alignment. First of all, these are too close together. Space this out quite a bit further on this resolution here. Also, alignment. The end of the T in contact ends right here in this photograph. Make sure that you don't have any like margin or whatever. I guarantee you that's the issue. Yeah, there's like there's a little bit of there's margin there, and there's or padding there and padding there. So make sure padding right for both of those elements is set to 0. With small things like that will throw a design off. Now, issue of a lack of white space with your social icons. So margin top should be like that, really. We can go like 3M units or 4M units. That would be better in my opinion. And these right here, the social icons being high contrast, they honestly seem out of place. I may not even want to put those there. You could take those and put them like right here if you want. The icons here, again, you have a lot of space. So I would do margin, margin bottom's already there. Margin bottom like 2M units. And then also margin top, I think that's what I meant to do. What the hell? Get over there. The margin top should be something like that. But again, not with this here though. This looks a little strange. It seems like you could probably put these all in one line. You have enough space here. Because having this inconsistent flow where you have 2 rows, but only you have 3 columns up here, but 2 columns here. It just feels not as consistent. Kind of breaks the layout. All right, not too bad. Very monochromatic and simple, which is fine. Just some small things there. What do you think this person should get rated? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Let's see if it is responsive. It is. This is a real simple design, so making it responsive would be easy. All right. I'll just go ahead and rate this one like a 6.8. Yeah. I think that's pretty fair. There are some small things I could bump that up easily. Personal website. Is this? I think that's the one I was just at. Yeah, it is. Okay. Travel app design. All right, that looks pretty nice. It's pixelated though because it looks like it's a GIF or something. Oh, sorry, I keep on doing that wrong thing, showing the wrong screen. Let's see. Yeah, unfortunately, when it comes to these previews, it's hard for me to really get a good idea of the UI itself. Sorry, 1 second. I had to respond to somebody. I mean, it looks like it's pretty solid, but like I said, it's hard to get a grip on what exactly. Some of it looks like there's some really cool UI animations occurring here as well, but because I'm not able to really get a good look, a real look at the UI, I'm not going to really bother with rating it. It looks really solid though. Looks like that could easily be an 8. My design for a review. There's some people walking around, firefighters or something. Let's do this. Refresh. Oh, those aren't firefighters. Those are miners. Mining services and equipment through the Mexican Republic. All right, so this is a lot's happening here in this background. One big issue here is the call to action buttons being styled the same. I already talked about this before, though. I won't harp on that. One should be emphasized over the other and not styled the same. The start, services, contact, and jobs being so spread apart makes it hard to really scan it and even identify that this is a navigation. So reduce the amount of white space between those. Don't make it fluid like that. Right align it. This section, the icons are way too big. Scale those down. Make this black and keep this color gray. Alignment's a little bit strange in this particular container. I would rethink that a little bit. Maybe move it over to around here and extend it all the way out to here, because it looks kind of just weird. It's kind of centered, but not. Now, this form right here looks to be, well, first of all, accessibility issues, because there's no label here anymore. So you don't want to rely just on placeholder, but also being really, this font weight being really black like that, extremely bold. It just looks strange, and it's also not even lined properly. It's pushed up a little bit to the top, and it's not vertically center. Also, the send button being like, it looks kind of cheap because it has this little gradient on it. So I would remove that gradient. And if these are 100% right and left, this should too. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you think this person should get for a rating? I'm going to have to give this one a 5.5 or so. Yeah. All right, thank you for the submission. Next up, what is happening here with this one? What is going on? We got a business card? Well, first of all, way too small. I can't even read anything. If you're going to do something like this, man, you better... like that. That's how big it needs to be by default. 12/02/98. I don't know if people care. Is that your birth date or something? And then when you hover over, or then when you click it, it tells you, it gives you access to the social media links and all that. I don't know what's happening down here. This is a little bit crazy. Again, if this was your attempt at an actual portfolio where it's just a business card, you're lacking a lot of stuff, in my opinion. So I would probably rethink that. There's issues as well with this. I assume that's your name right here. That should be bolder. More of a visual hierarchy needs to be applied on the type between these two elements. So I would work with that. Not enough's happening here for me to even bother with a rating, though. I think that's just kind of pointless. Rate my portfolio. Wait, no. E-commerce website made with Vue.js. Sorry, I'm lacking energy today. I am lacking energy. All right. Shoe store. Lorem ipsum, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Okay, so this whole section right here, these two columns should be centered at least. Let's go to products. Yeah, kind of not a fan of how you're spreading these out. I know the intention is probably to make them fluid. Or sorta. But this right here, I don't agree with that. Wait, why did that happen? Why did the home... I didn't even click anything, and this kind of just shot up out of nowhere. That's kind of interesting. Kind of just seems bland to me overall. Very bland and just not complete. So yeah, we'll do a rating. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. You're going to want to fill out this UI much more. This kind of just seems like a randomly placed graphic here. Again, I would go to Google and type in landing page inspiration, go to Dribbble, check out the web design category, just to get ideas to see how you can approach, you know, something. I don't know what the PDP page is. What's a PDP? Product page? I can't even click on these. So I don't even know what you're talking about. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rate this one, unfortunately, a little bit lower, just because it feels incomplete rather. You're gonna really want to fill out the page a lot more, for this page at least. All right, we are at 50 minutes. We'll do a couple more here. Rate my portfolio. Definitely change that logo. The logo with this weird sort of like a scriptish font and overly large icon, it just lacks, yeah, I would definitely change this up. At least scale this big icon right here down, because it's just all out of sorts. It's too large. Welcome, it's me, my work. Having this outline like that, I think a little bit too, it's overdone. It's a little bit too much. Just kind of like makes it look a little bit cluttered. So I would fill that in with a regular font and then scale it down a tad bit. And again, like I said, it's just kind of overused here in this context. Then this little skeleton UI, that's fine and all, but then underneath it you have all these icons that are really taking up the attention. This whole section is kind of just making me want to look at these things, which is not what you want. You want them looking at this, the headline, the most important element. Again, this is all way too much now. Everything being outlined, yeah, it makes it hard to scan, hard to read, so I would not do that here. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Let me know what you think. I'm just going to straight up give this one a, we'll say like a 4.8 or so. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Was that him? No. Okay. What is happening here? All right, let's see. What is happening here? What is this H at? Like, is that like, I don't even know what this is. It looks like it's just unnecessarily cut off. And it's also rastered, so it's like a JPEG or a PNG and not an SVG. This type of graphic should be a SVG though, so that it's vector. Hi, I'm a front-end developer. You know, it's a randomly placed card. I'm not sure about that, but one thing is that especially on this resolution, you can create a lot more white space between, because you have the same amount of white space between each of these 4 sections. 1, 2, 3, and then these buttons 4. So I would definitely space those out vertically more. Home, projects, contact kind of just feels misplaced right here, having a sidebar navigation. To me, that doesn't really make sense to do. Let's click on my portfolio though, just to go here. So when it comes to tags like this, like CSS, Elementor, HTML, PHP, blah blah blah, those are more of an afterthought. So wrapping them in, you know, a high contrasting area that takes a lot of attention from the eye, I wouldn't do that. I would do something different. Like what I would do, by the way, you need to improve the white space in this white container right here. There's not enough of it. Things are right up against the edge. So what I would do is I would take, I'm not sure if I'll be able to adjust this background. Yeah, so I'll put it gray at first, but then what I want to do is like bring it up to around there, very light, and then color. We could do gray like that. Now that's much better compared to what it was before, because now the visit site, that's what takes your attention. to actually click it. And also, if you're going to have visit site here, the whole thing should be clickable, not just forcing me to click on visit site. More white space, like I said, inside of these containers. And also, I wouldn't even do the part where you hover over it and it makes this drop shadow more, so it just doesn't look that good. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Let me know what you think. I disagree. Somebody said they think that the call to action should be contact me. I don't know about that. Just because I think before a person or a potential employer wants to contact you, they want to see your work, what you're capable of. But I don't even agree with having just a page here. Like, your portfolio should be listed down here somewhere so people don't even have to click. They can just scroll real quickly. All right, for me, I'm going to rate this one probably like a 5.6 or something like that. We're going to do one more. Who is the lucky person? We have an Adobe XD prototype. Okay. Damn it, I did that again. There we go. All right, next up. See, okay, I think I'm gonna have a new role. I hate most prototypes because it's like it has this big unnecessary damn border around it, and it makes me feel like I'm not getting a good read on the UI. So I'm sorry, but we're gonna skip that. What's a Crick website? You could have just linked it, man. What is this? I always check these off my other screen. All right, let's get it over here. Refresh. So we have a cool animation here. Big issue with white space alignment. You know, on a large resolution like this, where we're at 4K, that's a big no-no right there. You would want to move those in closer together for sure. This isn't even giving me the ability to translate it though. Other than that, I like the logo. This part here is pretty decent up there. Having this real outline like that, I don't agree with that because it's taking too much attention. Wow, you need a lot more white space between each of these elements. Big time. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it based on the markup here, but let's see if I can. That's a lot better. See, like that's a lot better than what he had. So if I and also notice that, okay, there's an issue with alignment because you're using different sized icons. So like this is up high, this is a little bit lower, this is up high, then this is up real high. It just throws off the layout so much when you use inconsistent icon heights. So you want to use the same so that you maintain the same, you know, where your type is all on the same line, so to speak. But if I refresh, I mean, that's so much harder to read. So I would definitely improve that. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you think this person should get? Yeah, and for me, I'm going to have to rate this one on the lower side. So I'm just going to put it at a flat, maybe 6, maybe like 5.8 or so. Yes. All right, so one last time to mention it, and that is going to be the new sponsor I have for these live streams specifically, and that is hover.com. you can go ahead and get 10% off by clicking the first link in the YouTube description and registering a hover.com domain name. And they offer over 300 different domain extensions from .design to .inc to .art to .photo. And they have really great customer support, a great UI to work with. So definitely check them out. And that is it for this Saturday live UI UX review. I'll be doing this next week, maybe Friday or Saturday as well. And yeah, if I didn't check out your design, then just try to get there early as possible. And again, I don't always know when exactly I'm going to be going live stream, so you just kind of have to hang out in the Discord server, and then you'll get a notification in the news section. So I always right here in the news, I let people know right before I go live right there, and you can submit in negative space submissions. All right. It was a pleasure. Thanks to the one person who gave a super